Hello, trumpet players. This is video number 7 in our Trumpet Comeback Players Guide. We're going to talk about reliving your glory days. Different people come back to the trumpet after a long time of not playing for different reasons. Now, in the last video, I told you about some people who felt like they just hadn't finished what they set out to do, so later they say, now I've got time to work on that, gonna try to do it. In that case, in that video, I was talking about people who never really got a high range. Now they want to do that. But you have also people that come from the other end of the spectrum. People who had a great trumpet career in high school and college, or college. Some of them quit right after high school, but they had a time when they played wonderfully. And what they want to do in their comeback, their purpose, is to relive those glory days. I've had several students like this, and this is the first one of these videos that deals directly with problems that other types of students don't have. This idea of reliving your glory days, which I'm not against, by the way. I hope I made that clear in the second video. Whatever purpose you have, that's the purpose you have, and that's what we should work on. Now, if reliving your glory days is your purpose, there are a bunch of problems that automatically come with that. I'm going to say that again. When you are trying, when your purpose is to relive your glory days, there are a bunch of problems inherent with that. I want you to consider. See, I never stopped playing long enough to call myself a comeback player. I did stop playing, and I told you in the first video that, of this series, that's why I feel like I'm qualified to teach this, is because I had a comeback design, never needed to use it, but I had that, and then that comeback became my regular routine. But the truth is, I've never been a comeback player, genuinely speaking. The longest I've gone without playing my trumpet has been, I think, 6 weeks. That's not really a comeback. That's a break. Right? So I've never had a break. I'm not a comeback player. I've been playing. I graduated from high school in '82. That means I graduated 40 years ago. Do you think I sound the way I did in high school? I've been playing all this time, and we can't really say that I sound better. Now, some people will say, I've had this conversation with people before. Oh, Eddie, how dare you? How dare you not say you sound better today? There are certain innocences. Is that a word? Innocences. Plural for innocence. There are certain innocences when we are younger that we can never recapture when we're older. Today, I don't have that nonchalant, like, naivete that I had when I was in high school or college. Today, all of this water under the bridge, so to speak, has given me a much more mature perspective. Now, and that brings up one of the other problems with the way we think in music, that one thing is better than another. Who said? Really? Who's the one that gets to say this is better than that? Who gets to say that? And I think this is a tragedy implemented by our education systems. You know, I'm not a liberal. I don't mind saying that publicly. I'm not a liberal, but a lot of the stuff that I teach sounds very liberal, right? Talking about this, what we're talking about now. One person's sound is just as valuable as another person's sound. This is especially true in jazz. You can't say that this is better than that. You know, if you listen to the old Herbert L. Clarke recordings, that doesn't sound so good. And it's not just because that's different technology, they played different. And it's not just because it's a different era. You listen to people today. I like to use, I better not do that here because I don't, people take stuff like this the wrong way. But there's a trumpet player, a famous trumpet player, who does everything wrong. Everything. Notes are too short, the phrasings are, you know, and people love him. So who's to say what is better than what? You know, let me use as another example. When I very first started writing jazz tunes, I was hesitant to write jazz. I've been composing since 72. No, not 72, that's too early. Well, let me do some calculations here. 76. I've been composing since 1976. I only started composing jazz compositions in 89, 90, because I was unsure of what was required for that. I didn't understand. You know, in classical composition, you have control over everything. In jazz composition, you have almost no control over anything. And I didn't know how to work my head around that. But anyway, those very first compositions that I wrote in jazz, they were all chordless. In other words, no piano, no guitar. I don't consider those my best work. And yet there are people still today talking about that music. There are still people today that I got an email. Now, it's been some time now since this happened. Like 7 or 8 years ago, I got an email from somebody that says they listened to those recordings of that music. And it helps them calm down. It helps them, anyway, it was a very complimentary, they love that music. And there's a bass player here in town who says, man, one of these days we're going to get together and we're going to play through that music. I don't like that music because I've been composing jazz now for what, 30 years since then. Those were my very first pieces. I've learned a lot since then. I look at that and all I see is the stuff I don't like, stuff I've changed in my writing since then. But if we're going to be objective about it, who's to say that those songs are any worse or any better than the new songs I write today? There is no such thing. There is no stratification that way. There is no, because see, the thing is that music is subjective. It's not objective. Music is subjective. There isn't any one that's better or any one that's worse. You know, you look at some of these, I've been very fascinated lately with some of the older artists, jazz artists, and looking at, and composers too lately. I've been looking at just how many, like Duke Ellington, for example. Duke Ellington wrote a lot of music. And so did, there's people we can say that about. But what pieces stand out as being their best work? A lot of times it's stuff they wrote earlier in their career. Stuff that they don't even think is their best work. This is not objective, it's subjective. What's better than what is subjective. Now, if we look at you now and you 20 years ago, you can't make that comparison. Even the people who never stop playing sound different 20, 30, 40 years later. They sound different. What makes you think, after not playing all that time, that you're going to somehow sound the same as you did in high school? So, now I don't have a problem with you reliving your glory days. That's a wonderful purpose to pursue. But if the way you're going to pursue it is to say, I want to be exactly like I was in high school. I want to have all the same skills and all the same tone and the same everything. Because everybody loved me then, and if I have all that, they'll love me now too. That doesn't work. If you want to relive your glory days, and another thing I have to say about that is when you were in high school and college, you weren't reliving glory days. If you want to truly relive your glory days, you have to stop trying to be like you were and enjoy what you're doing now as much as you enjoyed what you were doing then. That is how you relive your glory days. You enjoy what you're doing now. I can guarantee you, you will get no pleasure out of trying to recapture the exact details of your trumpet playing past. You will get no pleasure in that because that is a impossible goal. You cannot reach that goal for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons is because your little glory days that you have in your head, it's a known scientific fact. I don't normally mention science in my lessons or here. I'm not one of those people that try to throw science at you to make you think that I'm saying the right thing. I'm not like that because I think that's very deceptive and almost an evil practice. Most of the time when people do that, they are sharing stuff that's been twisted. And they twist it just so that they can look like what they're saying is true. But it's been a proven, I'm making an exception here, a proven scientific fact that your memories are pliable. Your memories are not etched in stone, they change. And there's a good chance that if you have these wonderful, wonderful memories of your glory days playing the trumpet, it's probable that those days never existed the way you see them in your head. So that's another reason why it's impossible to reach that goal. There's other reasons as well. I'm not going to go into all that because I have to start my chat in a few. We do the live Q and A every week, right? And I'm recording this video right before, what's the date today? This is July 23rd. And so I'm recording this video right before that. So let me summarize. If you want to relive your glory days from high school or college, the way you do that is stop trying to be like you were in high school and college. That's not how you get glory days. The glory days are when you, and I said enjoy, there's more to it than that, obviously. You want to do a good job. The way to truly enjoy your music is to put enough effort into it so that you're successful. Okay? So it does require, I think this goal, this purpose requires more effort on your part than almost all the other purposes. Because in high school, in college, you had time to devote to your success. If you want to relive those glory days today, you have to spend that same kind of time on the horn. Then this goes contrary to what I normally say, right? I tell you, you don't need to practice that much. You can take days off and stuff like that. I say that all the time. But if you're trying to relive your glory days in high school, that's not going to happen if you're not spending the same kind of time and the same kind of effort. So it can't be just, trying to do playing the horn more often. It can't be just that. And if that's what you're trying to do to relive your glory days, then you need to reassess what your purpose should be. If you just want to have fun playing the horn, that's not the same thing as reliving your glory days. All right? So if you want to relive those glory days, you have to get serious about reaching a genuine musical goal. Set up a recital for yourself, put a jazz group together, whatever kind of music it is that you want to play. Get some music, get started on it, and do the best job on that music that you can do with what you have today. Don't try to make it sound like you used to sound in high school. Don't try to have the same skill set. Don't try that. In order to live your glory days, you got to stop looking back and look forward. Shoot for the goal, push for the goal. That's how you get more glory days. You didn't get glory days in high school by looking back. So yes, I told you this is one of those things that comes up specifically for the comeback players who want to relive their glory days. You don't see this with almost all the other students. The only other time I've ever seen anything like this, because let me tell you, when you try to relive your glory days the other way, it is frustrating. It is painful. And I mean emotionally painful. It's depressing. To the point of, if you're the type to go get therapy, it would put you in therapy. It's terrible. Terrible. And I was about to say, the only other time when I've ever seen this before is a trumpet player who was a great, mostly professional players, great trumpet player who had an injury. And they want to get back to where they were. And even with those students, it's the same problem. They keep holding on. They keep looking back at what they had instead of moving forward to where they want to go. That's what causes all the frustration. You have to embrace who you are now and be successful with that now. Don't try to relive that part of it. Relive the joy part of it. Relive that thrill of having gone after a goal and conquered it. That's the glory days, is that you conquered a goal in high school. Maybe you made high all-state or got first chair in the jazz band or something. But that's what the glory days are, is when you had an accomplishment. You were victorious. That's what glory days are. So if you only look at the minutia and don't look at the actual goal, it's going to create all kinds of mental havoc. All right? And it's just, like I said, it's the same thing for people who get injured. Don't try to be the same. You can't be the same. You are a different person now. Physically speaking, let's say you got your face bashed in. That happens, right? You're a different person now. Don't try to be, don't try to have the same sound. You can't. Instead, keep your eye on the goal. All right? So that's what I've got for you. This is a very specific video this time, but it comes up. I'm not going to say it comes up a lot, but it does come up, and these are the students that hurt my heart. Because a lot of times I can't help them because they won't get their head out of that. They won't get their head out of trying to sound exactly like they sounded in high school. And it hurts my heart because they don't have to live like that. That's not necessary. It's not necessary. You can have that same pleasure playing music that you had when you were younger if you drop that trying to be a mirror image of what you were in high school. This is a very important lesson. I better get to sign off. God bless you guys. We'll see you on the next video. We have a few more of these comeback guides coming up. But this is, I think, number 7. All right. God bless you. See you on the next one.